Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of CinnCine Goes SyFy, and have I got a film for you tonight. This is one of my favorite films. It is completely underrated, and I'm hoping that a lot of this group has already seen this film, but if you haven't, we put the ads out to tell you which movie it is. It is Attack the Block from 2011. And if you haven't seen this, here's a little taste.
Lovely fireworks.
Mummy, it's an alien invasion.
Of course it is.
Let's get tooled up, blood! Let's get down there! I'm killing them in the street!
Quite sweet, really, aren't they?
Even if it is an alien invasion, they're 4 foot high and they got kicked to death by a group of kids. We got nothing to worry about.
This is the worst night of my life.
Feelings mutual.
I feel like going home, locking my door, and playing FIFA.
Such a pussy.
What kind of alien would invade some council estate in South London?
I'm just looking for a fight.
Jokes, man, jokes.
Okay, like aliens invasion to the block in South London. Like, of course, is this the movie that you needed to see? Of course it is. And who better to sit here and talk about my favorite movie with me but my buddy, my friend, my other queen, filmmaker, director, screenwriter, and visual artist herself, Miss Tia Cherie Polite Jones. Hey, Tia, how are you?
Hey, Sabrina, I'm great. How are you?
I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you're going to talk to me about this movie.
Yes.
Okay, so before I give everybody the plot, you saw a little trailer just now, and let me just run through the plot for those of you that don't know it. This is a British sci-fi comedy horror film, which some people have called a subversive masterpiece. I agree. And it's basically a teenage street gang defends themselves from an alien invasion on Guy Fawkes Night. That's all we got. So here we go.
Enough?
That is enough. Yeah, alien invasion, teenage street gang.
Yeah, it hit all the touch points.
So now, how did you find out about this film?
I first came across this film when John Boyega was cast for The Force Awakens. And so they were talking about this film that he done, Attack the Block. So I was like, okay, I got to check this out to see what this is. And so I saw it probably not long after it came out, maybe a few years. Mm-hmm. And I got an opportunity to again see it yesterday, which was great refresher, and enjoyed that. Stayed up late to watch it, and it was so great. But yeah, that's how I came across it. And like, okay, John Boyega, all right, got to look out to see what's going to be up with your career.
Yeah, I think it was the same for me too. It was all about the fact that George Lucas had said this was the film that he saw him in and decided to cast him as Finn. And I said, wait a minute, what? So let me go back. I think I did the same thing. So, but before we get too deep into the film, tell us more about you, because I absolutely love you, and I have helped with a little bit of promoting some of your films. So just give everybody a little bit about who Tia is.
Okay, well, I am as you said earlier, filmmaker. I'm a writer, screenwriter, novelist, director, producer. I don't want to go into everything I do, but I have touched on so many different aspects of film, based on need and desire. Sometimes at the same time, but whatever is needed. But yeah, and I've been doing this since about 2012. Well, that's actually not true, because I was thinking back on it. I could say that if I first came into this life back in 1980, when a certain film came out, if you can check and see my background, you may be able to see what film that may be. I don't know which one it could possibly be.
Yeah, got
But
it.
yeah, then and so that's when the bug was first got planted, but I didn't know that that's what it was. And there's
Isn't that
different
something?
signs over the years in going forward where the universe kept saying, you should do this, you should do some stuff like this, and different little opportunities, whether it was writing some things at a job where we're doing little skits and things, training videos, or running the camera for some event, or having to create some flyers or something like that. And so it all just came together around 2012 when I jumped into like, okay, let me go
Get
ahead
real.
and do this and try to make a film. And it was a 48-hour film that I did, and I just produced that one and I wrote that one. And then a couple of years after that, I said, you know what, let me try my hand at directing. And oh, the bug hit hard then. And so I was fully into it once we got to that part. And then just adding other little pieces, editing, the visual effects, all that came together. So yeah, that's pretty much how it got started with me.
Oh, wow. I love that story. I love it because, okay, everyone. So what you need to take out of that, what she just said, is when all these little things happen to you, put it all together, because it was the same for me. Like all these things just kept happening in my life. And then finally, you break loose and just say, I'm going to just do something in films. That's like, forget it.
Yeah.
I just can't stand being a CPA anymore. Give me movies. So, but you've been doing it all the time, all your life, and you just are not picking up on it, right? So
Universe will tell you, you just got to listen sometimes, like, hey, pointing at something, maybe pay attention to that.
yeah, pay attention.
Yeah.
So, okay. So why I really wanted you to watch this film with me is because I think this film has a lot of what you love going on in it. And it's a low budget film. It's a $13 million film. And when you're in film school, one of the practices that you have is like they give you like a fake in my film school, they give you a fake $15 million budget. And you got to come in with a movie, right? You got to put the package together with 15 million. You got to get your director, your actors, you got to get your locations and everything. So this is very real that Joe Cornish, the director and screenwriter of this film, had $13 million. Can you imagine having $13 million to do a film, girl?
What I would do,
that's
probably 13 million more than I've ever had.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, all right. So this boy got 13 million to go make this film. And I thought he did a terrific job. Like the opening.
First film too. First
Yeah.
film.
Yes, first film, which this won a BAFTA, which is the English version of the Oscars. He won a BAFTA award for outstanding debut by a British writer. And for this film, and he won the audience award at the LA Film Festival. I mean, this film made some waves for this guy, and it wasn't a big success in the theaters. I just think the marketing probably wasn't behind it, but the opening. Now, Miss Film Director, do you remember that opening? Because I was all in from when the comet.
I do.
The
comet
just
coming down and hitting, and then we kind of like pan down and we see the city and everything, and it kind of goes right into.
I'm like, oh
yeah, I love
going?
those shots. I definitely love those shots where it kind of just starts up high and then comes down, because you get the take in everything and lets you know, oh, hey, it's space, so this must be a sci-fi film. Oh, but they're showing a neighborhood. Okay, so this gives a sense of a more urban film. So they're combining the two together, and you got something what you got, Attack the Block.
Right. It was just, I just love that opening. And then I want to put this film in context. So we told you what the plot was about: a teenage gang that is defending their block from the alien invasion. So the opening scene is of the gang itself, which is a bunch of kids in hoodies, which is why I'm wearing my hoodie I'm wearing my hoodie in honor of this film today.
You got your bandana on too. One of them had a bandana just like that.
They had right? Okay, you got it right. My boy Moses had his bandana and his hoodie, and I'm wearing this just for Moses because I love my John Boyega. That's my boy. So, but to put this film in context, it was made in 2011, and I want to tell everybody this in London at the time, what was going on, and it's really important to understand when people are writing a film, what is going on in a screenwriter's head, especially if they're writing something that is contemporary. London at this time in 2011, it was the Labour Party was the winners, which would be the equivalent of like our Democratic Party, I guess, more so than the Republican Party.
Yeah, I think so.
And Tony Blair was the prime minister. And so they were at this point in London where they were realizing that their lives weren't going that great, even though there wasn't any war going on, there wasn't any big economic downturn, there wasn't any pandemic. They were like, well, why aren't white people doing as great as we thought we were going to do, because we're like Great Britain and what's going on? And they were like trying to figure out why everything was starting to fall apart, even though it was the way they had just built their society or whatever. I mean, I really don't know. I'm not a sociologist or British, but they weren't doing so hot at this
great.
time.
Just I'm learning from you.
Yes, they decided that the problem was they had too many people of color and poor folks. So they were blaming the poor folks for getting all the benefits. Does this sound any kind of familiar?
Yeah, kind of familiar.
Sounds a little familiar. So this is what's really going on in London. And so the other thing that was happening in Britain, but the other thing that was happening in London is that it was starting to get gentrified. The rich whites were coming back to London, and they were encroaching on all of these neighborhoods and getting closer and closer to what these blocks were. And a tower block is like a project. I
didn't even realize what they meant when I first heard that. I thought neighborhood. I did not realize they meant tower. So I'm
tower.
like, oh, okay.
Tower and those scenes where they were filming, he's filming, and they're going straight up to show you the tower. So there were three things that the white middle class and the rich people were totally terrified about, and that the media in the 2010s, 11, 12s, were really pumping on. It was kids running around in hoodies. It was kids on scooters like gangs, and it was kids that lived in these towers, because the rich people were encroaching on these towers, and now they were like backing up right against these kids. So they were like walking through these neighborhoods. They were just gentrifying and getting these beautiful condos, but they were right next to these, what they call the states. And so those were the three big bugaboos. And to the point where they actually had a ban on wearing hoodies in malls or in grocery stores. These kids could not even wear a hoodie. You could go in and buy a hoodie, but you couldn't be seen wearing it, or they would come and they would arrest you.
I didn't know that.
Wow. Oh, yeah. So the hoodie is key, that these kids have these hoodies on, because they are like, and then the scooters. The fear of everybody was that a kid on a scooter would come and snatch your purse. So the first scene that we see that Joe Cornish puts in this movie is the absolute anxiety of white middle-class Londoners. And so when they see this film, they are like, that's what I'm afraid of. That's what's going to happen. That's it. I'm going to get mugged walking down the street by some black kids on scooters wearing hoodies near the tower. And he puts it in the first freaking scene.
Yes.
And then the alien crashes down.
Like that. Yeah.
Boom, then the aliens come down. Like, whoop, okay, that's not what this is about.
Here's your fear, and now here's another fear. You should fear this more. We may have to work together to stop that.
Yeah, subversive. So, people were like, he's going to make the kids that they had been demonizing in the British press, the paper, the media, everything. He's going to make these kids the hero of this movie. And I'm like, I am so there for that. I am so there for that. And I love that he did this. So that's why one of the film critics called this a subversive masterpiece. So now the other thing is, it takes place on, and I hope I'm pronouncing this right for all you Brits, Guy Fawkes night. And so do you know what that is?
It's I'm not totally sure. I know these masks because there was another film, and the film escapes me. It was one of the Wachowskis' film, and I can't believe I cannot remember the name of it. But that was a Guy Fawkes mask as well, and so yes. So that's all I really know about. I don't know all of the backstory, so please let me know.
Okay, well, you know what? That's why CinnCine's here, to give you these totally unnecessary facts about a film that'll just make it more interesting for you. So the fact that this takes place on this night, it's November 5th of every year, and it's celebrated with fireworks and explosions, because back in, the Brits are crazy, man. They be celebrating stuff. I just love them. So back in 1605, let's go back in time. This guy, Guy Fawkes, was arrested for guarding all the dynamite that the Catholic protesters were going to use to blow up the House of Parliament and kill King James and the whole freaking House of Lords.
Yeah.
Catholics don't mess around, so Catholics are going to try to kill this Protestant king, but they got caught.
Okay.
So this celebration, they put it into law that they would celebrate for the rest of their lives. They would celebrate the day that this guy got caught and that they did not get to assassinate the king. So that's what the celebration is about. So the fact that there were fireworks going off, the fact that there were fireworks going off is why they don't notice the aliens coming down like comets. That's why they didn't react, because there was so many fireworks going off because it was Gay Fox night.
Okay.
Right, because she's the nurse, right? And she comes back and she's telling her mother she ran late because there were a lot of kids with firework accidents. And so they were all lighting off. And that's why they have all these sparklers and everything going on. So that's, but there were other reasons why they didn't really care about where the aliens were going. But that's why they did not notice. They did not notice anything about the aliens, because they were like, oh, it's just fireworks. But like, no, it's an alien invasion. I got news for you.
The aliens don't care about the fireworks. They coming.
They were coming. Yeah, and you know what? So why were they coming? Did we ever get why?
Okay. So basically, one of the characters, I think he was kind of this stoner type kind of
the white boy, the strung out white boy.
Yeah.
I love that character.
He said it was kind of something like kind of something like these. I'm not sure if they were like, he equated them to spores, or I'm gonna say maybe like bees or something, where they were basically trying to find the queen.
You said something about the solar winds. They were just floating on the solar winds.
Yeah, they were floating on the solar winds, and the queen, she comes down and she gives off these pheromones, and that's where all the males kind of then know how to track her and find her.
Okay. And so there was no other reason in that. They were just like, okay, this is a great planet to like get some food. There was nothing more deep than that. They were just really...
it wasn't on their calendar to like, let's go there.
We're gonna get the human. They didn't see nothing. They were just like, they were just coming for food, and they got poor Pogo.
Basically.
So there was no real, and I love that there wasn't any big, explanation behind why these aliens were coming down. And another one of the great scenes when the males all come down after the female, the singular comet. And when those kids see all those aliens coming down and that whole stream of comets coming down, I was like,
because the shot, they were all coming down, and then the angle just kind of shifts a little bit. You can see, there's a lot of them coming down.
I was like, oh my God. I remember the first time I saw this movie and the female alien jumped out of the car at Moses, and I nearly jumped out of my chair watching this. I guess I was streaming it when I saw it the first time. But I just lost my mind when I saw this thing. So I want to give a shout out to the man that created the aliens, because this is a alien like you don't see in any other movie, created specifically for this film. And so you're a visual artist, a visual effects artist. So I know you would appreciate some of the back scenes, the back of how the creature movement specialist, Terry Notary is the man in the suit. All right. So Kalia, if you're watching, and I know you are, Kalia, like we were talking about Godzilla, there is actually a man in a suit doing this. This is not CGI with these aliens. Now, there is some animation post-production of these creatures, but the two aliens you see running around, those are guys in suits.
Yeah.
Love that.
And I like the whole name. What did you call them? A creature movement specialist?
Yes, he's called a creature movement specialist. He worked on Planet of the Apes, the Silver Surfer, X-Men. So he created... Well, the whole team created the alien, the look of the aliens. They went through drawings, and then they decided they wanted it to be sort of like a combination of a hyena and a simian or a monkey or an orangutan. So they kind of had that. So, Pest, when he says it's like some gorilla wolf motherfucking thing, he was straight on.
I loved Pest. Oh, my God. He was the funniest character. I wrote down a line that he said in the film because I didn't want to forget it, and it was, okay, this is too much madness to explain in one text.
He only had one credit left. I don't know what he said. This is too much madness. And then
But he was
my other favorite
hilarious
Pest
in the
line,
film.
I think it was Pest
Yeah, it was
when
Pest. He was here.
well he said that Moses got shanked by Dobby.
Yeah,
I nearly he said it's some Dobby looking thing. Dobby from,
yeah.
Harry Potter. He's calling a female alien Dobby. And he said the thing was, he goes, Moses got shanked by Dobby. And that's what made Moses go in there and kill her. Because he got so upset when Pest said that.
Couldn't let that slide. Like, I can't have my people thinking I got shanked by Dobby.
Dobby. Pest was my boy. He was just on it. It was just like when he asked the nurse if she had a boyfriend after they would go, you got a boyfriend?
Yeah, he's on the nurse. Like,
Got the
are you a
nerve.
kid? You got a big hunk just been taken out of your leg and you hitting on the nurse.
You still trying to play. I was like, player, sit down. Sit down,
Yeah.
Pest. Sit down. But I love the group of them. And I love the fact that they were really a team, right from the beginning. Because even when, Moses goes in that shed to kill the creature, he doesn't know what it is. He's just mad. He goes in there like a fool, like a total fool. And then you hear him say, back me up, fam. And his boys come running with their little.
Yeah. They were tighten it. And
They were very brave.
Yeah, they were.
Stupidly so.
Yes.
That was the other line. When they decided that they were going to go, I guess the male aliens come down now and they land, and one of them lands like close to the block, to the tower. And the boys are watching us from the window and they say, let's go back and tool up and we're going to kill them. We're going to straight kill them. They just looking for trouble. Like they ain't got nothing else to do. And then you get a really great scene. And I love the way the director, the screenwriter and director, gives you a flavor of where these kids come from when they go back to their apartments to tool up and what they go and grab. They're kids. They're kids. Yeah. And they're running in and, one guy's family, his father, you don't even see the father, but he says, take the dog out, take the dog. He's like, no, I can't take the dog. He's got to go get Poke. He listens to his father. He comes back and he gets that dog and he takes him out. And, the other mother was like, you got a curfew. Like she's like a single mother. I guess that's Beats' mother and Biggs. And he's like, no, I'll be back. I'll be back in 10 minutes. I just got to fix my tire. He's telling us some kind of lie.
Well, they were on the phone earlier when they were talking. So those two scenes right there, they were the earlier phone scene where it gave a sense to like, okay, they out there running around doing their thing or whatnot. But you can see how they still are with their home life and everything. And then when they went home. So those two scenes right there gave you a bunch of backstory into who these characters were. And I always like to find scenes like that. Well, how can I give a sense of, I don't have a whole lot of time to spend with it, but how can I give a sense of, hey, you can get a picture of who these characters are? Because that also comes through when you're casting for the characters as well. You want to be able to give a sense, well, okay, these are who these characters are. In fact, some of those scenes I probably would have done during casting for my sides to kind of see, because I want to see how they play the subtle side of the characters as well as the more action-oriented parts as well.
Yeah, for example, Jerome.
Yeah.
Jerome came from, it seemed like an intact family. Like he comes busting in on his sisters and they were like, we got exams tomorrow. He's got the glasses and he's the kid that looks like he's the studier. He's like the good kid, but he's hanging with the bangers, right?
Yeah.
But Jerome is one of the block. He's one of the kids in this tower. Those are his buddies. They're all just friends. They're just kids. And he goes back and he gets some old rusted knife, and his other boy just gets his firecrackers, and they're just getting tools. They're like, well, they're gonna go fight I'm like, no, stay in the house.
The kid, I can't remember which one had the samurai sword, had the katana.
Dennis.
Yeah, because like
he's got the motorcycle helmet, right? Dennis goes back and he goes, no, let me get the bigger sword.
Yeah.
And he probably bought that thing for like 20 quid or whatever. Like this is that wasn't a real. But that's what he's got. They go running out there. I'm like,
use what you got.
Lord. Get these boys back in the house. But Moses was like, what did he have? He had a baseball bat, I think.
He had a bat.
Was it a kid stuff? Nobody had. Oh, he had a knife though. He did have a knife.
He did. I read somewhere that the director, he interviewed some kids to see in that scenario, what kind of weapons they would have brought to an alien invasion? And that's where you got the idea from for some of what they would bring. Like, what stuff would you grab? And that's
Yeah,
like
what do you have in the
great way of
house? Like,
doing that. Yeah. What would you grab if there's an alien invasion?
I'm looking around. A tripod. I would have had a tripod.
Hey, use whatever you can find.
Pam grabbed the guitar. I don't know what she thought she was gonna do with that. She was like El Kabong. She's gonna be. I was like, you don't have anything for an alien invasion. You just got to grab what you got. And I just love that they did that.
Don't plan for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're saying I'm the only one that does that?
I got an emergency go bag ready for in case the flood hits, but I just recently got
that
together.
Go bag.
I ain't got no alien invasion. I might have to get one though. And there actually was a woman in a suit in this because the female alien was played by a woman. She's in the suit, and they actually have some backstory scenes of her choreographing that fight with John Boyega, and and she's in a costume that Terry Notary, the main guy in the suit and the creator of the suit, he said she actually had the worst part of it because that suit was like almost half her body weight. By the time they got all that head, and it has all these servos in the mouth to make the mouth move, and you can barely see out of it. And she had to jump on Boyega and fight with him. They had to choreograph the fight, so she's fighting with him with this suit on. I'm like, girl.
Oh, so they use a lot of animatronics in those. Okay.
In the headpiece of the
Got
suit.
it.
Yeah. They built, like when they were actually doing the running, they had like extended arms to make them look like apes, and they could barely see out. So they just had to like put a tag, and they just knew to run to the tag and then make a turn. They had to memorize because they could not see like where they were running. I mean, it's just crazy watching how they did these animals. I mean, and it's very scary. And Terry Notary, they say he was one of the nicest guys on the set. And most of the times when he was rehearsing, he just had the headpiece on. He doesn't have the bodysuit on. Then when they go to film it, like I'm saying, this is a man in a suit. They're not doing green screen. They are doing the man in the suit. So the kids in that one scene where they've got to run and the aliens are chasing them, Terry's in the suit. And right before he puts everything on, he says to the kid playing Pest and Jerome, he goes, "I'm going to catch you. You're my bitch." Action. And they said the kids were like, "Oh my God." And they just went tearing because they said Terry was scared of bejesus out of everybody right before they shot the scene. And it was like real fear. They was like, once he got in that full thing and he started saying shit out of his mouth, they said they were terrified. They were creeped out. Everybody said totally creeped out.
I love those moments on set. Those are some of the best little unscripted things that you just do to get your actors where they need to get, or just something random happens. Those are so fun times. I love those.
Oh, Terry was like the best. So they film everything, and so now here we go. You got everything on film. And they decided that they wanted to make those aliens look even scarier. So, there was one scene where they put the hand on it. They were saying like it was the blackest black they ever saw. And one of the guys said, "He's darker than my cousin Femi." So they did all that in post and animation, making the fur look even darker. And then they highlighted the jaws, and they actually added more teeth in the throat, like teeth all the way down into the throat. Okay. So that was all sort of animated in afterwards to make the aliens look even fiercer. So at any time, there were only two guys in the suit and then the one female. And then later when you have that last scene, the critical last scene where there's like the whole gang of them, they kind of copied over and over. And just, it was like the first two real guys, they just like kind of copied and animated them in, so that it looked like there was a gang of them. But so that's like the only time they really had, okay, we're going to just draw in some aliens. But all the rest of the time,
the scene where they were crawling up the side of the building.
Oh my God, that scene was so creepy.
That was my favorite scene. Just kind of, we're seeing so many of them just going up the side of the building,
like cockroaches. They were just
yeah.
My two boys did Probs and Mayhem.
Yeah. When they asked them earlier, like, "You just got water gun?" Like, and he said some kind of comment that hinted that this ain't water in here.
Right. There's not water in there. Thank God, because my poor little Biggs was trapped in that thing forever. He was calling everybody, "Is somebody gonna come and rescue me?" I mean, that thing was just waiting on him to come out of there.
They have to film in the trash can.
And they had a shot of how they filmed that because they supposedly in the scene, Probs and Mayhem earned their names by saving their boy that's in the bin, and
Yeah.
they squirt the alien with the gasoline, I guess. It was petrol.
Probably gasoline, yeah.
And then they shoot the firecracker at him and light it up. I'm like, and so they had
the other thing.
Yeah, they actually had to have one of those guys in the suit. They had to light him up and have the fire guy standing by. And it was the scariest thing because they were counting down, like he could only be in that suit for like 10, 12 seconds. Before they had to put that fire out. I was like, oh my sweet Lord, what these guys go through to make a scene.
Oh,
so when you watch the scene where the kids light up that alien, please, thank God that Terry Notary came out of that without a scratch. But
yes. But you spoke on, reminded me about the firecrackers. The other favorite scene was when Pest would shoot the fireworks out and it came out like rockets, and it was like a low angle shot and the rockets just came across, and it was like, yeah, that's a shot I could definitely get.
That was a shot. Yeah, my boy just was like, phew. I said, okay. You know what other shots I loved? And it was like a sequence of them. It was when the elevator doors opened. He kept showing like straight on elevator doors open, and you didn't know what was going to come out of that elevator.
Yeah.
Like when Hi-Hat was standing there, I thought he was going to be dead.
And and it kind of showed him. I thought he was going to be all cut up and torn apart and whatnot. But
he looked pretty bad, but he was like,
he did.
You might want to take the next one. I was like, oh my God.
The humor was perfectly set because it fit the characters, it fit the scene. It wasn't them trying to be funny. It was just kind of naturally something where, I could picture someone saying that in that moment.
Yeah, because and the thing that I loved about this writing in this is, like you said before, we didn't have a lot of time to get the background of these kids, but Cornish definitely made you see that these were just kids. They weren't these hoodies that the media was trying to portray like poor black, poor white kids as evil and gangsters. I mean, they had no one else to look up to. They're like, Moses, you didn't know where his uncle was. One of the other boys didn't have a father in the house. They didn't have, so the people that they could emulate were just these gangsters and drug runners that were out in the street. These were the grown men that they saw, just like you saw the little kids, Probs and Mayhem, looking up to these guys and trying to be like them. Take us with you. We want to hang with you. We got weapons. They were trying to be like them.
Yeah, Moses didn't want them to kind of like do it. He wasn't going to encourage that. If they grow up into that, then that's one thing, because you can see he acts as a father figure or an older brother to some of the other ones. I'm not sure how much older he was than some of them. Could be just he was taller than them. But he kind of came across.
They were all like 15, 16. They were all high school kids. And, then they were looking, I thought, that whole scene where Hi-Hat says, "You're mine now" to Moses. I mean, he was just totally grooming him. And he was so proud. His group was proud. Yeah. And he got raised up by Hi-Hats. That was like the compliment. Oh, is he giving you something to unload? And I'm like, oh, no, boys, no, this is not what you want.
Well, why was Hi-Hat so determined to continue going after Moses, even though he knew that, hey, there's these creatures around? Like, I know they kind of insinuated that he blamed Moses for the creatures being there, but I wasn't sure if he actually really thought that, or he just, because Moses hit his car, he was just going to go after it.
I think it was that simple. It had nothing to do with the aliens. He was just one angry Negro that was like, don't think you're going to come, because he kept telling them, that's my tower, that's my block.
Yeah,
And they knew that those kids were following Moses. I think he was seeing that this kid is going to grow up to be a threat to my power.
Yeah, you're right.
And he wanted to put him down early. He was like, no, you're mine. And he was going to stomp him early. And he was like, oh, no. We got to. And he was just mad. He was mad at everybody. He was so stupid. Everybody's trying to tell him it's the aliens, and he's just not listening because he did not care. All he saw was like, this is my marketplace.
Yeah.
Y'all are messing it up.
Yeah, blinders on one track. This is what I believe. This is what I'm going to feel.
I don't care about none of you in here. Right.
Yeah.
And I was so glad when he got it. I didn't know what to do. I was like, just take Hi-Hats out of here, because he's just too stupid. He thought, all he thought was like, as long as I have this gun, which you don't see in London. They don't have guns like that. So he had the only
Right.
real gun. He thought he was the most powerful man in that tower.
Yeah, he wouldn't even believe when they try to tell him, "Hey, these things are right behind you outside." Would not believe it.
I was like, I love Pat. Believe, trust.
Yeah,
Too stupid to hear the boy. He's like, "Don't try me," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it because I can't stand this man already."
yeah, yeah. He was really the only one I could not stand. I'm like, oh, I hope you get it. So
I know. I liked every other character in there except
Yeah.
Samantha got on my nerves for a little bit, but I could understand. I mean, they tried to murk her.
Yeah, they
Whatever that
did.
word
So
was.
she had justifiable gripes there.
Yeah, justifiable, right, right. And I love that, he realizes later, they all realize, oh, if we had known you were from the tower, we wouldn't have.
Yeah,
They thought she was one of the gentrified walking through, which is
yeah.
again what, white angst, white anxiety is like, that's how I'm gonna get murked. Because if I'm just
Yeah.
anywhere
It's
near this tower.
perception. I'm white, I see you. Oh, you are gonna definitely do something to me. And then they see her like, oh, you can't be from around here. You can't be poor. Like y'all both are in basically the same circumstances, just some years apart. Both y'all struggling. Trying to do better.
Right, because then his kid said, oh, she's a nurse, she don't make no money. Why are you always picking on the poor people, Mose? So she was in the same situation, and they finally realized that, she's one of the fam.
Yeah.
She becomes one of the fam, and then she's realizing too that, these she says it later, like, these are my neighbors, and they were protecting me. And that's when, I think that's where Hi-Hat didn't have any part of. He was in that building, but he wasn't part of the fam.
No, it wasn't it would hit for him. It was about
exploit.
territory for territory's sake. Whereas the other ones, hey, we about protecting this because this is where we live.
This is where we live. Nobody's going to attack this block. They was clear that was going to happen. Even when they went up to the girls' apartment, I love the scene in the girls' apartment. And it was such a different apartment, so girly and frilly. They were all hanging out.
Everything was like it's like a certain way. Like, okay.
They were like all pink and everything. And the next thing I love that line where he said, I think Sam said, but they were running up the stairs to their apartment, and they were saying that they were going there for the gate. And then he said, well, you haven't seen these girls fight. It's like, because Dimps and Tish, they got busy with that alien.
Yeah.
Girlfriend pulled out she was gonna save her boy. She was gonna save her boy because she had a little thing about it. I was like, what did Pest say? Oh, she's on your balls, man. I said,
oh yeah.
Pest. Seriously?
Yeah, the aliens, they landed near the wrong neighborhood. They invaded some other neighborhoods. Maybe they would have definitely kind of done what they needed to do and whatnot, but they landed in like the wrong neighborhood, like
wrong place. I know. Like, you came to the block. We're not having this. We're not having this. So I totally loved it. So we went through so what really got me, and I think that's what makes this film really, really good, is that it was jokey, but then there was this dread because they did lose some of their guys.
Yeah,
they
did.
lost
They
their
lost
guys
2
horribly.
or 3, I think.
Yeah, they lost Dennis.
Yeah.
He went down hard. I mean, first he lost Pogo. Because Pogo I knew Pogo was gone. As soon as Pogo jumped out of the back and went running to the thing, I said, oh, that dog is dead. And you just hear the dogs crying, screeching. I was like, and when he goes, this is for Pogo. So yeah, I mean, Pogo went and Dennis went. I was so sad. And then when Jerome got it, I was almost in tears.
Yeah.
He could not see in the
that was a great scene with the mist everywhere, and it just kind of like you don't know where you are, what's coming around you, and
you
it's
could
like
hear them.
Yeah, builds calling up him like anticipation. You know somebody's probably gonna get it. You don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know who.
Why did it have to be Jerome? I love when they had to tell him to put his glasses on. You can't see anything, man. Put your glasses on. You don't have contacts on. He's like, I got my glasses on. And again, he couldn't see. That was the thing. He couldn't see where everybody went. I mean, he got turned around and that was it. I was like, oh, not Jerome. And they, and poor Pest has to see him get dragged away.
Yeah.
Uh, and even he gets wounded. I mean, they were taking some hits. They were taking
Yeah,
hits
they did. They
seriously.
took hits. I think no one came out of it without at least some scars.
True.
Just about everyone got at least some kind of physical
Had a
scars.
mark.
Yeah.
Pest got beat. He got bit bad. I was like,
he got a hump taken out of got bit on his leg.
Whoa.
Moses got scratched up early on. We talked about the 3 that got killed. The one that was in the dumpster, I can't remember, did he get scarred up? His scars may just be emotional.
No, he made it out of there.
Yeah.
That he was riding on. So first of all, that was the thing that I didn't understand. So when they were trying to get away, like he jumps on Jerome's bike. I said the other 2 guys had motorcycles. Like, why did you get on a motorcycle? You making Jerome pedal your heavy ass.
You're at a disadvantage right there.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I don't understand why you didn't get on one of the scooters. But poor Jerome has got, so Jerome fell. Yeah, he jumped off.
Yeah.
He jumped off. And then he was on the scooter when Moses got taken by the police.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a scary scene when they were in that van.
Oh yeah, it was.
And he was like, open the door, let me out. I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get taken in the
then
cage.
She goes in the door. She goes like, oh yeah, I'm safer in here tonight.
Okay. There was a couple times when she did stupid white girl shit that I was like, okay, don't go in the basement. Don't go in the cage.
Yeah.
There was another one. She left the apartment and she was gonna walk out. I was like,
yeah, she walked down and the guys were back there. She was in the middle, and then the creatures was coming around the other side. And she did smartly decide, I'm gonna go with y'all.
It took her a minute. I was like,
Yeah.
It took you a freaking minute to figure this out. Like, what is wrong with you? So I love that. Okay, this is another film that I had to have the closed caption on, even though they were speaking English. Because the slang was just getting me. I could not understand what they were saying some of the times. It was like watching Supercell. You had to have it on. Like,
yeah. I guess because I've watched different movies on Netflix over the past few years where there have been like a lot of the British movies like that. I guess my ear is starting to get used to it a little bit more. So I can understand a little more. But yeah, that slang is different.
It was banging.
Yeah.
What was the guy saying? Like wagwan. Wagwan. I love that. They're still like what's going on? Wagwan.
I like when they say bruv. I just love
bruv. I know bruv. They got this British thing, but they got, they're like trying to be Americans. Like, don't even lie. Don't even lie. You all looking like you straight from like some borough in New York, but you're from South London. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah.
And then that wagwan that's Jamaican. I mean, they had like all cultural kind of roots in there. All their slang was. But even the white boys were saying,
well, yeah,
actually it was Hi-Hat said it to Moses, wagwan. I didn't hear the white boys. Okay. I didn't hear the white boys say that, but that got me like, okay, he's got Jamaican parents, like, I don't know, as opposed to Nigerian or whatever else anybody was in there, but from one of the colonies.
Mm-hmm.
That made sense that he was the drug man. He was. So you would say Nagwan if you were like, if somebody asked you that. I had to look it up. I was like, if somebody says to you Wagwan, then you can say back like Nagwan, mean like nothing much.
Good to know.
Somebody said it to you. What useless information. Excuse me, Brits, if I pronounced it incorrectly. My Jamaican Brits.
Well, it's fun when I'm writing and I'm using something like that. I'm always having to look up to see, okay, well, what did they say? How did they say it? If I want to use this. So that's actually a fun part of the research I do when I'm writing for characters and whatnot.
And it'll break a scene if you have dialogue that doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because when you do the table read and somebody's gonna read that dialogue, it's supposed to be in some sort of a idiom or whatever, and it just hits the ear wrong. You're like, I mean, you may not even know it, but you're saying your ear is now being attuned to British slang.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. I haven't watched a lot. I know friends of ours that are into like BritBox and have all the British things, and they watch them all the time. They love this movie, and they love that Jodie Whittaker was in this. So number 13 Doctor Who, and she's from Broadchurch, and she's done a lot of British television. So,
Yeah.
there were a lot of people in this film that have made a lot of British movies, and
I've seen quite a few that I look back on and say, oh, I didn't know this person was in it. Because you don't, at the time, oh, okay, I didn't know who you were, but now I'm looking back and it's like, oh, you are in this. Okay, cool.
Well, Cornish wanted people that were relative unknowns.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want people to recognize, so even Nick Treadway, who plays the white kid, he's the twin. Okay, for everybody that's going to say to us that Nick Treadway is the same guy that was in Picard and that he's the same guy that was in The Crown, he is not. The guy that was in Picard is his identical twin brother, Harry Treadway. This is Nick in this movie. So there are two of them. They look pretty much alike. The other brother is in Picard, which would have made it very easy for me when I did 6 Degrees to Trek, but I couldn't use it because that's the wrong brother. So
got it. Got it. Good to know. I didn't realize that.
Yes, they are twin brothers. They are both actors, and I was so confused because I thought, is that the guy from Picard? And I'm like, but he doesn't quite look like him. But wait a minute. I thought he was, wait. And when I finally looked it up, I realized that they are identical twin brothers in acting. I'm like, how are you not messing everybody up at casting?
Yeah, you would think so. Like, hey, didn't we already read you for this role? Like, no.
Didn't we already tell you no? No.
And what happens when a twin brother, one gets a role that the other twin read for and didn't get it?
Oh, that must be horrible.
Would
they probably don't go up for the same roles. I would bet that they have like an unwritten rule, like you cannot go up for anything.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, one of the brothers is kind of the one in this movie. He's kind of geeky looking, and the other brother is a little more attractive, if you ask me. They're not identical twins. They are identical twins, as you would say, not fraternal twins, but they don't look exactly alike. I can tell them apart.
Even now, do they look the same?
They look very much the same. Yeah.
Still, okay,
you got to look twice. You got to look twice.
Okay.
To see which one it is, but there's something slightly different about one of them.
Okay.
But anyway, take that with a grain of salt. It is not the kid from Picard. But the other thing I wanted to talk about here was that what George Lucas saw in John Boyega was his ability to pull off the action, and the sword. He was lightsaber sword. I mean, he was seeing this guy as like, wow, he's 17 years old in this movie. He is only 17 when he's playing this role, but he looked like Jodie Whittaker says, you look older.
Yeah.
And he was a natural leader in this role. And I could see George Lucas saying, like, who is this kid? Who is this kid? Because that's a great performance he gave. I mean, the whole chemistry between him and Jodie Whittaker as he tries to apologize, as he's realizing that he's done the wrong thing, and that he's the one that bringing the drama back to the block. He's really sad. He's trying to make up. He's trying, like to say, he's trying to apologize. So I thought that was really a well acted arc that he had, and Lucas saw it.
The part where at the end where he takes out the whole room and then dives out, that was that hero side where like I see exactly why they cast you, because that heroic act you came across, how he came across and everything, the look on his face, the movement, that probably is what sold it. Like, yeah, he needs to be
Lucas said that's a leading man.
Yeah.
That's a leading man right there, that kid. I mean, he's a leading man in this. He is the leading man in this movie. But this is not a one-off.
It was his first film too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
First film,
leading role. How often does that happen?
Can you say pressure? Happens when you're John Boyega. I mean, they could see that this kid was something else. They could see.
Special.
Yeah. And I mean, you don't take your eyes off of him when he's on the screen.
Yeah.
You just want to see what Mose is going to do.
I saw some reviews said that he was kind of like, you can't take your eyes off of him. That lets you know right there, yeah, you're going places.
Yeah, and he's got that hat on and the hoodie, and he's just looking rough, but he still looks like someone you can trust, someone that's got to have your back, and someone that he knows his guys are going to follow him. He don't have to look around All he has to do is call. He knows it's like, it's like when, you have those scenes in Star Trek where Janeway was like, "Is my crew gonna follow me?" They're like, "Captain, we were right behind you." It was like one of those. Like they were
leader
right
for
behind
you.
Mose.
That's a leader for you. True leader.
That's a true leader. So yeah, I could see why George Lucas was like, "Who's this kid? What kid? Wait a minute." And he already had the build. I mean, he was like, that was like, okay, wait. Okay, he's got 5 more years to put on some more weight and look like, I mean, so when he comes out as Finn and a stormtrooper, there's no doubt. I have no doubt.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's gotten to the gym after. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a full grown man now. So I mean, I love it. I love it. So my other favorite scene in there is the end. I love the way they ended this film because there was one line where Mose says, first they want to know where the aliens were coming in. There's a couple of things that he says. He says, first they sent the drugs in to kill us.
Yeah.
Then they sent the guns.
Yeah.
And he didn't doubt that they made these aliens up to kill black boys because we weren't killing ourselves fast enough.
Yeah, he nailed that scene. That delivery, the line delivery, everything. He definitely nailed that.
That
that's
broke
such
my
a
heart when he
powerful,
said that.
powerful
Yeah.
dialogue, powerful acting in the scene. Great.
And you don't have a whole lot of social commentary going on in this. He's not making up, cornices and like trying to make a big statement, but he just gives you that one line of dialogue where these kids believe these aliens are coming in there to kill black boys.
It's
and
not in your face. It's not overt. It's subtle. It's there, and it's believable how they come across. It's not where they're preaching to you or anything like that.
Right.
They're just telling you how it is.
That's how it is. And when Pest says, well, yeah, they're going to arrest us for the van and the 2 cops dead and everything else. He said, they arrest us when we haven't done anything.
They already know.
Yeah, so he says, we know we're going to get arrested for this.
Yeah.
We know we're going down for this. He says, oh,
Yeah.
what we going to... And the other
they
thing...
still saved the block. Still saved everyone.
The whole planet, as we
Yeah,
say,
the
the
whole
whole planet. And they probably did. They just about did. And the thing that really got me was that even if it is that guy Fox Knight, the mayhem that's going on in that tower now, like nobody comes to help them. And they say no one is coming. The police don't come. The military don't come. You've had an American movie. They would have had like the bazookas and the tanks would have been there, like War of the Worlds. Everybody would have been coming and, they would have been blowing stuff up, Independence Day, like the jet fighters, everything. Nothing is coming for this.
I love it
power.
when no one's coming because it just really ups the stakes so much that, hey, if we're going to survive this, we got to count on ourselves because no one's going to get us out of this on our own.
No one's coming to help us.
Yeah.
No one's coming. He said, and that's another thing. So the third thing about this, and so this is called a hoodie horror. There's a subgenre of British films called hoodie horror films, and where they have like a gang in hoodies that are terrorizing, the white people and everything. So this is a subversive turn on the hoodie horror. There's another British subgenre that back in the 60s, it was called the kitchen sink dramas. And this is when you had like the lower classes and their dramas. It was like movies like Look Back in Anger with Richard Burton, Sport and Life with Richard Harris. They made all these kind of like Taste of Honey. These movies were called kitchen sink dramas. So the white people, the upper classes, the film elites call these movies about the lower classes of Britain kitchen sink dramas. And now here we go in the 2000s, and we are talking about the lower classes again, and they've named them hoodie horrors. Hoodie horrors.
Hoodie horrors. I never heard that term. I like that's interesting. Hoodie
That's
horrors.
what I'm here for. I'm here to give you the British subgenres of what we are watching.
Well, thank you. Now I know who to go to when I need to know, hey, what's the British subgenre for this genre I'm trying to do here, or I'm trying to watch here. Like I know who to go to.
And I love me some kitchen sink dramas. I mean, I love them. I love them. They are so. If you haven't seen one, try Look Back in Anger with a very young Richard Burton, and he's just a mess in that. He's just, he's beating women up, and it's just a mess. So, it's like, dynasty time, but
got it.
Love it, love it. So, and the other thing is, at the end, since the cops finally come after Moses takes care of everything.
Over.
Everything's over, and he's hanging by the Union Jack. the flag of Britain saves him. I'm like, oh my God, it wasn't even like the Union Jack saves him. Okay, whatever. He climbs back in and he's like, yeah, I saved them. I killed all the aliens. Everybody's dead. All the aliens are gone. Just blew the place up. Controlled blast too. I love it that you put a gas blast, but you only took out your apartment. I'm like, nice. I would have taken out the whole tower. But this was another thing because right after this happened, and these towers and the fact that these apartments were substandard, and there was a great big fire called the Grenwell fire. I think it was the Grenwell fire. And it was in one of these kind of towers, sub building code, all this stuff. The fire went up, and just like these kids say, everything it just rained down. I mean, the fire just went straight up, went into
This was Britain too, or this was somewhere else? Was this Great Britain
like
as
a few
well?
months after this movie?
Oh wow!
A few months after this movie, and there was a huge outcry that one of these towers went up so fast because it was so poorly built, and 72 people died. And they came out and they said, everything, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. The aluminum melted, everything came down. Like, why did they have all this substandard? And even after all of this happened, they did not hold these real estate developers feet to the fire to upgrade the building of these towers. So these towers are still built substandard. It was why I really laughed when he blew up the apartment. I said that whole thing would have come down. And sure enough, like 4 months later, one of these towers goes up in flames, one fire, and it just takes the whole thing down. 72 people dead. Actually, Meghan Markle did a lot of help for that fire. It was a very famous fire. And then soon after, when they were talking about the boys getting beaten and arrested and everything, there was another in the same year, sort of like our George Floyd moment when they had the police over policing killed a black kid and riots in the streets in London. Also, all of this is happening the year this movie comes out. So, we've got the tower going up. We have the scooter, robberies do happen. Not as much as they're making it seem, but they are happening. And then we have this, the London just goes ballistic after this young black boy is murdered by the police. So to see this film and to see them flip it and make these kids the hero, and at the end have the police still arrest them, even though they have just saved the planet, and they just end it right there. I was like, yes.
But Moses got his moment with everyone chanting his name.
Oh, I love that.
That was such a great scene.
Moses. And that look on his face when, Pestis goes, that's for you. That's for you, man. That's for you, bro. Best ending ever.
Yes.
So they weren't bookends, they weren't mirrors, but I love the opening and I love the ending. I mean, I felt a complete emotional opening and closing with this film.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I loved it as well. And you're right. Wasn't like the perfect kind of opening scene, closing scene, but the message is kind of there. So I take it as they came, they saw, they got dealt with.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to the aliens.
And even Mose had his arc of realizing what he did wrong.
Yeah.
He
really changed his life.
Yeah. I shouldn't have messed with it. I shouldn't have killed that animal. I shouldn't have tried to steal a thing from her. I should have known she lived here, that she was part of the fam. And so I thought, he came full circle too. He grew himself from such an experience. My God. I can't even imagine. Like you said, everybody was scarred coming out of that. These boys are traumatized for the rest of their lives. And then, and nobody's ever going to believe them. All the evidence is gone. Everything is blown up.
There'll be rumors for generations about that. Everyone will know the story of Moses and the aliens and all of that. So he's going to be pretty much king around. Nobody's going to do anything in that neighborhood anymore without his say so.
Listen, that's for sure.
That's
for sure. So everyone, if you have not seen Attack the Block, I know we have spoiled the entire movie for you, but hey, that's what we're here for. But now you have the context, and now you have the plot, and now you can go back and you can watch these incredible action scenes. You can watch this it wasn't CGI, but this post-production animation that really makes the teeth glow and the blacker and the aliens just Oh my God, those aliens! The aliens they were just creepy. They were like some of the
They
creepiest
were.
things.
They were. I think I know how they did the effects. I'm pretty sure because I'm looking at, well, how would I have done it given they're not using all of the modern VFX? So I pretty
Right.
much know kind of how they would have done it. And like, okay, I like that.
What do you think? I'll tell you if it sounds like anything I heard.
Okay. So in order to deepen the blacks, one thing I would do, I would mask and do composites and then bring down take away the light. So I would darken it so the blacks get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so you get that kind of like otherworldly look and it's contained to just that area that you want to target.
That is
Oh,
what they
okay,
did.
cool,
That
cool,
is what they did. They took the
cool,
light out.
cool.
All
That's
right,
what I
Mark.
thought.
See, that's why you had to be here, Tia, because you know what you're talking about, girl. Oh man, I love you. I love you. Yeah, you nailed it. So, you need to see some of those. They're on
YouTube.
YouTube, and you can
I
see
will
some
look
of
for
those.
them.
Yeah, some of
Cool.
the background about how they did this film, and it's just fascinating. I mean, that's why I love filmmaking. It is, it is so incredible how they make something look real or augmented, but so much of it had to actually physically happen. And then, like you say, they're doing extra stuff to bring it out and to make it look different on the
Yeah.
screen. But they're working with actual footage that a man in a suit is running and chasing these kids. It's like
Just
a guy on
blend
a rope in a suit
both
is
worlds.
jumping. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, a man in a suit is lit on fire. I'm like, oh my God, wow.
Some realism for you.
Movie makers, I love you. I love it. I love it. So anyway, so now, okay, that is the story of Attack the Block from 2011 and the finding of John Boyega and the subversive masterpiece that this is. And please, know the context of what, hoodies mean in this time of 2011 and what scooter gangs are and what towers represent and why this is an important film and totally underrated. All right. But now we have another thing that we do here on this show, Tia. We have a thing called 6 Degrees to Star Trek because I can get any movie back to Trek.
Any movie.
Any movie. And that's why I had to tell you all that the guy that's playing the white guy in this movie is not the one from Picard because that would have been way too easy. Right? So I'm going to get my little card here where I have my 6 degrees, and we will get from this British Attack the Block back to Star Trek. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go with 6 Degrees to Trek. And we're going to start at the beginning with the co-star, the leading lady of this film, Jodie Whittaker, who ends up playing the 13th Doctor Who. Now, she's not the first female Doctor Who because I believe there was somebody else, but that person wasn't like the Doctor Who, which is Jodie. And she's also Beth Latimer in the movie the British TV series Broadchurch. And so you'd probably be very familiar with Jodie from either Doctor Who or a lot of her other British films. So she was very familiar to me when I saw her face, even though I couldn't tell you what film she was in, but she's made a lot of movies. Now, in the second position of 6 Degrees is the person she made her very first film with. Like, she comes out of drama school, she gets her first feature, and she is going to be the leading lady to none other than Peter O'Toole. What? So she makes this movie in 2006 called Venus. And in the movie, she plays the great grandniece of Peter O'Toole. And she has been asked to come and sort of take care of him because he's advanced in age. He plays an aging actor, hangs out with his friends, but he needs somebody living with him now, calls the great grandniece over. And he thinks she's going to cook for him and take care of him. And it's just they're going to watch movies together. None of that happens. She's a complete crazy teenager, and it's going to be a whole nother thing. So it's a very cute movie. If you have not seen it, it is called Venus, stars Peter O'Toole and Jodie Whittaker, the great Peter O'Toole, one of my favorite actors, in the second position. And so from Peter O'Toole, and I'm doing it just because I wanted to someday connect Peter O'Toole to 6 Degrees to Trek, because I love Peter O'Toole. we go to my other favorite Peter O'Toole movie, which is The Lion in Winter, in which he starts with Katharine Hepburn. Okay, I got 6 degrees of Trek going from Peter O'Toole to Katharine Hepburn, the man that never won an Oscar, to the woman that's won more Oscars than anybody else, except for maybe Walter, what's the guy from the Real McCoys. So A Lion in Winter from 1968, where Peter O'Toole is playing Henry II and Katharine Hepburn is playing Eleanor of Aquitaine. And they also have 3 sons who are vying to be the heir to the throne of the aging Lion in Winter, which is Peter O'Toole. And those sons are played by 3 great British actors, but one of them is Anthony Hopkins. But now he's not in our 4th position because that would be too easy too. No, we go from Katharine Hepburn. We're going to go to Miss Vanessa Redgrave. We're going to stay Brit here. We're going from Brit to American. Now we're going back to Brits. So Vanessa Redgrave and Katharine Hepburn made a movie, believe it or not, called The Trojan Women. Yes, I would, of course, have seen this film because I see schlock like this. But anyway, it's from 1971, which goes to show you what was going on in the 70s, where these 2 great actresses have to go out of the country and go to like Greece and make this film with Irene Pappas. I mean, it was like a big film in Greece and everything, but it's about the Trojan women who become slaves after the Trojan War and, everything that's going on with that. So, it's a whole big drama. Check it out. The Trojan Women, starring Vanessa Redgrave and Katharine Hepburn. So we have Vanessa in the 4th position. Now, she made a lot of things. She did Driving Miss Daisy on Broadway with James Earl Jones. I could have gone there, but, no, we're not going there. You know where we're going with this with Vanessa Redgrave? And I loved this when I saw this. I was like, oh. In the 5th position, we have Vanessa Redgrave, who starred in a film with Forrest Whitaker called The Butler, directed by Lee Daniels. Yes, I'm going back to America now with the great, another Oscar winner, multiple Oscar winners, Forrest Whitaker, director, actor. I mean, just one of my favorite actors. If he's in something, I'm going to watch it. And so now he played Cecil Gaines. He plays the butler who served through 8, I think, presidents and administrations in the White House as their butlers. And I so suffer in my heart for the people that are now working in the back house of this administration. I can't wait for their books to come out. I cannot wait. I hope I live long enough to read that. But so Forrest Whitaker is in our 5th position, which is going to bring us in the butler. Also everybody was in this. Oprah, everybody was in this movie. But the man that's in this movie that's going to bring us back to Star Trek is none other than, yes, Clarence Williams III, who plays Maynard in The Butler in the 6th position, because he also plays Omada Khan, one of the Jem'Hadar in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and it was the one called To the Death. So season 4, go back, and we got, Clarence Williams III bringing us back from, the Brits attack the block. We're going to go to the Jem'Hadar.
Is that the episode where he was fighting war?
I'm sorry?
Was that the episode?
That's the one where they got some rogue Jem'Hadars and they find the gateway and they're going to take the gateway, and then Cisco's got to go back and get some loyal Jem'Hadars.
I love that one as well.
And the other Jem'Hadars. Okay. Oh my God. It was like Jem'Hadar. That one was a good one too. Lord Jesus. So yeah, and Cisco was in the middle of this mess. So yeah, Amada Khan was the leader of the good Jem'Hadars. Yes, Tia is one of us. we got messages from the producer over here going on. So that's what we have for our 6 degrees of Trek. We are going from Jodie Whittaker in Attack the Block right down to our man Clarence Williams III. I mean, from Mod Squad all the way. I mean, that was my boy. I love that show, Mod Squad. Lincoln. So before we sign off, thanks for being part of this amazing community. If you are new, make sure to subscribe, like, and ring the bell so you don't miss another one of our great sci-fi movies. We've got about 6 more for this season, and I've got some real gems coming up. Like, this is one of my crown pieces here, but we got some more for you. If you want your brand in front of our passionate movie savvy audience, sponsor CinnCine Goes SyFy. It's a unique chance to connect with loyal consumers who love sci-fi and insider insights from directors like Tia, screenwriters like Tia, and fans like me. So whether you're a small business or an individual, it's a great way to reach an engaged community. Click the link in the show description, go to the show description, or visit sci-fisisters.com/sponsors to learn more. And Tia, thank you so much for all your insights. I love that you knew like so much about this, and I love the things you said about casting. And oh, I just love that you're here.
You're welcome. I love talking about this stuff.
You got to come back. You got to come back and do another one.
Definitely, anytime.
All right, everyone. Thank you and good night.